Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how to set the default browser and email app on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now when you're thinking about setting the default app on your Mac, it's usually for setting the default app for a file. So for instance here I've got some images inside of the Finder. They're .jpeg images, and I could set the default app for these by selecting a file and then going to File, Get Info, or Command-I, and then you can see Open With, which will change just the default for that one file. But if I were to switch that to something and then click the Change All button, then that would change the default for all files with that exact same extension. So for instance, you could set the default app to open PDFs by selecting a PDF, Get Info, Open With, set it to something, and then Change All. But that's for files. It's a little different when you're talking about a browser or an email app. When you click on a link in an app, it needs to open a web page. To open a web page, it needs to do that in a browser. So which browser should it use? The default is Safari, of course. But what if you wanted to change that to another browser? So for instance, in my own Clip Tools app, there's an instructions and feedback option, and that will open a web page up, and of course it needs to do that in your default browser, in this case Safari. So it goes to this web page in Safari. But what if you prefer another browser as your default? Well, it used to be that the setting for this was found in Safari settings, but with macOS Sonoma it's found in System Settings, and then you go to Desktop and Dock. And then scroll down here and you're going to find it between Widgets and Windows. There's the default web browser setting. And you can choose any app that is set up as a web browser. So in this case, I have 3 installed. I'll set it to Firefox instead of Safari. So now when I choose to open up the instructions and feedback page, it will do so in the Firefox app instead. But what about an email app? Usually you just launch the email app that you want and you check your email or compose a new message. But what if you were to click on a link and the link were to trigger a new email? I have a sample web page that will do it, and if I click here, it will open up the Mail app and start a new message right here with some things already set, like the to address is already set in this. But what if I prefer another email app? Well, here you do it inside of Mail. You do Mail Settings. So even if you don't use Mail, you've got to use Mail to go and change this. And under General, the first item here is Default Email Reader. And any other email reader you've got will be in this list. But I don't happen to have any installed. But you'd see it here and you'd be able to select it. You could also choose Select and then choose any app that you want in your Applications folder or elsewhere. Now I know some people are going to ask, how can you use Gmail as your default email? And the way to do that normally is to have Gmail set up as an account here in the Mail app or whatever Mail app you use. And then just have the Mail app set as your default Mail app, and then it will work that way. But what if you want to use the web version of Gmail? Well, then it's a little more difficult because you actually want to go to a web browser to read and send email, not an email app. There is a way to do it though, if you're okay with using Google Chrome, which you might be since you're using the Gmail website anyway. So you just want to go to Mail Settings and then change the default email reader to Chrome. So I'm going to select it here like that. And that's now the default email reader. But now if I click on this link, all it's going to do is launch Chrome. It's not going to know what to do with the information, that it should actually start a new email message. So you have to tell Chrome to expect to get email links. The way to do that is in Chrome, go to mail.google.com, just like you're going to read your email. And then look carefully here at the top. You're going to see this special little button that is for installing a service handler. You click that and you select Allow and then Done. And now the mail.google.com site has told Chrome that it wants to handle email links. So now I can close this window here completely. As an example here, let's go back in Safari and click this email link. It's going to launch Chrome. It's going to go to the Gmail site and it's going to start a new message with the information filled in from the link. That's how to change your default browser and default email client on your Mac. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.